Very good morning. In the present lecture, we shall discuss about the role of photosynthetic pigments for the process of photosynthesis under plant physiology and metabolism. The photosynthesis is a phenomena which synthesizes food material which requires certain pigments which are responsible to absorb the light energy to convert them into a chemical energy. These pigments are called such pigments are called photosynthetic pigments. They are the substances that absorb sunlight and initiate the process of photosynthesis. Such photosynthetic pigments are grouped into three categories. Three categories like chlorophyll pigments, carotenoids, and also phycobilins. If we consider the first pigment, chlorophyll, these are the green pigments, and they are found in abundance, and they are present in the green cells of the plant body and play a major role in bringing about photosynthetic reaction phenomena. This chlorophyll is of various types like chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll D, and chlorophyll E in higher organisms. In prokaryotes like bacteria, it is found in the form of bacteriochlorophyll A, bacteriochlorophyll B, and bacteriochlorophyll G, in addition to chlorobium chlorophyll. In addition to chlorobium chlorophyll. The structure of chlorophyll was for the first time studied by Fisher in the year 1912 in collaboration with Wilstar. See, these chlorophylls are chemically molecules which consists of a porphyrin ring and a phytol chain. This porphyrin ring consists of tetrapyroles and a central core of magnesium ions, Mg2 plus ions. Phytol chain is a side chain of the hydrocarbon, and it helps the chlorophyll molecule to attach to the thylakoid membrane, that is to the membranes of the thylakoids. Out of various types of chlorophylls, chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B are the most important photosynthetic process pigments. This chlorophyll A is found in all photosynthetic plants except photosynthetic bacteria, where it is replaced by bacteriochlorophyll. Hence, the chlorophyll is called as a universal photosynthetic pigment. Moving on to the carotenoids, these carotenoids are orange yellow pigments embedded in the membranes of the thylakoids in association with the chlorophylls, but they are present in scanty amount, lesser concentration, lesser amount when compared to the chlorophylls. Carotenoids are insoluble in water and precursors of vitamin A. The carotenes are of two types, namely carotenes and xanthophylls. Carotenes are pure hydrocarbons, red or orange in color, whereas the xanthophylls are yellow in color. So the common carotenes are alpha, beta, gamma carotenes, phytoten, neurosporin, lycopene, etc. These beta carotenes on hydrolysis gives vitamin A. Xanthophylls, as I told just now, they are yellow in color, oxygen containing carotenoids, and are most abundant in nature. The most common xanthophyle in green plant is lutein, and it is responsible for yellow color in autumn foliage. Both carotenes and xanthophylls are soluble in organic solvents like chloroform, ethyl ether, and carbon disulfide. The next pigments are the phycobilins, otherwise called as belly proteins. These are water soluble pigments and are abundantly present in algae and are also found in higher plants. These are of two types, namely phycobilins, red colored pigments, and phycoerythrin, blue colored pigments. Red is phycoerythrin and blue is phycocyanin. Like chlorophyll, these phycobilins are open tetrapyrrole rings but do not contain magnesium ion in the phytol chain. So these chlorophylls, carotenoids, and billiproteins, they absorb light energy during photosynthesis. What is the principle beyond the absorption of light? See, all the pigments like chlorophyll, A, B, C, D, E, carotenes, xanthophylls, all pigments absorbs light energy, but the conversion of light energy into a chemical energy, which could be explained in the mechanism of light reaction. That conversion of light energy into chemical energy is brought about only by chlorophyll A molecule. So, what is the principle behind the absorption that can be explained by absorption spectrum, where sunlight is the source of light for the photosynthesis? That is the universally accepted fact. So, the light rays travel from sun to the plants and in the form of rays, and the bundle of light rays are called as photons. Photons. So bundle of light ray is referred as photon. The quantum of energy, the energy present in the photon is what is called as a quantum. Is quantum, and energy is measured in terms of quantum. The energy content of the quantum is related with its wavelength. Wavelength. Shorter the wavelength, the greater the energy, and the vice versa. Depending upon the wavelength, electromagnetic spectrum consists of cosmic rays, gamma rays, X rays, ultraviolet rays, visible spectrum, infrared rays, electric rays, and radio waves. These are the different types of rays present in the spectrum, and this is mainly depending upon the absorption, light absorption. The photosynthetic pigments absorb light energy in the range of visible spectrum, which range between 390 to 760 nanometer in the absorption spectrum, where a ray of light falling upon a plant body behaves in three different waves. The ray of light, as I told, it is called as a photon, and the energy present in photon is called as a quantum. And the light ray, when falls on a leaf surface, it behaves in three different waves. The leaves absorb nearly about 83% of light. Out of 100%, 83% is being absorbed by the light, a plant leaf, and the remaining 5% is transmitted, and the 12% is reflected back. 12% is reflected back. Total 100%. From the total absorption of 83%, 4% of light is absorbed by the chlorophyll only, the remaining by remaining pigments. Visible spectrum can be resolved into light of different colors like violet, blue or indigo, blue green, green, yellow, orange, orange red, and red. And in bracket we have given the wavelengths of those lights. Red light above 700 nanometer is called as far red region. Radiation shorter than the violet are called as ultraviolet rays, the range between 100 to 390 nanometers. Radiation longer than those of red are referred as infrared, and they fall between 760 to 1000 nanometers. So this is the electromagnetic spectrum, where, see, look at this electromagnetic spectrum and the range of lights, where the ultimate source of light for the photosynthetic process is the solar energy, and this solar energy uh, which appears in different colors as I explained falls between 300 to 200 600 2600 nanometers, where different colored lights available between this spectrum. And this is the this is absorption spectrum. This is electromagnetic spectrum, where the solar energy which falls on light leafy area, where the it appears in different forms like green chlorophyll. In that that chlorophyll contains chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E, and blue, violet, green, orange, yellow, etc. And this electromagnetic spectrum and the absorption spectrum is a prerequisite to understand the absorption. So in the next slide, what we can see is the absorption spectrum. See, this absorption spectrum can be, we obtain a graph here where when a light absorption is plotted against the absorption spectrum, that is the various plant pigments, we get a graph, and this graph is called as absorption spectrum, where all photosynthetic organisms contain one or more organic pigments capable of absorbing visible radiation, which will initiate the photochemical reactions of the photosynthesis. It varies from pigment to pigment. When the amount of light absorbed by the pigment is plotted, amount of light absorbed by the pigment is plotted against plotted as a function of the wavelength, we obtain a spectrum, and this spectrum is called as absorption spectrum, wherein we can see chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, beta carotene, and likewise the different colors. So basically, the solar energy which falls on the green leaf is of varying colors, which is confined to different spectrum, which could be explained with this absorption spectrum. So these pigments are mainly responsible for absorbing light energy, wherein the light energy, when once absorbed in the plant body, it is converted into chemical energy. That is, this is one part which comes under the raw material part of the photosynthesis. The next part is the mechanism. How this light is being absorbed can be explained by this spectrum, and how the light absorbed is converted into a chemical energy is a part of mechanism which can be studied in the next ensuing lectures.